Now let's bring in our UFC expert. So sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you so much for your patience. Animarak, how are you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
Hanging in there, Jimmy, doing pretty dang good. No sweat, don't worry about it. When we've got some gambling to do, I don't mind hanging out.
And that is what we have to do. It's a interesting card here with not a lot of baseball, but NFL, CFL, WNBA. I'm looking forward to tonight. All right, Animarak, can you please set the stage? Well, actually, first off, how did you end up doing last week?
Did pretty good. We went 4-3 on picks last week, and we posted a nice little profit, just over a unit. We've been kind of doing minor swings up and down, but a little more up than we go down. So showing a good steady profit.
Beautiful. I like hearing that. And could you please set us the stage for UFC this weekend?
Absolutely. So the UFC has taken to us some phenomenal places. We've gone all the way to Brazil. We've gone to Australia. We've gone to Canada and Mexico. But this weekend, Jimmy, we're going to Jersey. It's the most densely populated state in the country. And you know what? We really should think about things like the Statue of Liberty, you know, some of the wonderful things that it's known for. But instead, we think of hairy chests, gold chains, and Snooki. So there you go.
There you go. We are in Newark. New Jersey. That is exciting. Okay, let's break down this card and let's see what our guy Animarak is looking at right now. Let me just pull this up right here and let's get after it. Let's start with Claudio Silva versus Cole Williams. We have a big favorite in Claudio Silva, opening at minus 400 and a 10-cent move towards him now at minus 410. Claudio Silva, Cole Williams. How are you breaking this down?
Well, Claudio Silva was actually a big, juicy underdog, but his opponent dropped out. And this dude, Cole Williams, is a last notice replacement. He's 11-1, so you're thinking he might have some pop, but he's 35 years old and he never quite made it to the UFC. He doesn't have any really impressive wins on his record, and the only notable people who he's fought, he lost to, and that was on Bellator's Fight Master show, so they don't go on his official record. He is not UFC caliber. He's being brought in here, and Silva's a minus 400 for a reason. I'm going to go ahead and take the prop Silva inside the distance at minus 160 because I don't think this guy's going to be able to hang. Coming in on short notice, I don't think his gas tank is going to be able to hang. And Silva's a legitimate high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I think this thing hits the ground, and I'll bet you Silva subs him in the first round.
First round. So how are you making this from a minus 410 to a more reasonable number?
We're going to hit that prop inside the distance at minus 160. If you want to play the submission, I think that works just fine, but you always run the risk of him tying him up on the mat and pounding him out.
I like it. Okay, there we are starting with Silva inside the distance. That whole breakdown makes a ton of sense. Okay, let's move on to Mara Romero Barella against Lauren Murphy. Barella opening at minus 175. There's been a 12-cent move towards Mara Romero Barella. What's your play on this spot?
I agree with that line move. Barillas is the better of these two fighters. She's in better shape. She's got less miles on her. Murphy's been in there. She's tough. She's durable, but she doesn't do a whole lot well. She's very middle of the road when it comes to all of her stats, and she's not overly impressive. Barillas got a really good strike output and a really solid strike defense. When these two tangle up, I think Barillas is going to get the better of the two, and I think that line is justified. I'm on Barillas at minus 165.
Backing Barella. Okay, let's move on to Matt Snell versus Jordan Espinoza. Snell opening as a plus 130 dog. There's been a 21-cent move towards Matt Snell. What's your spot here?
You know what? This is one where I don't have a whole lot of dogs on this card, unfortunately. And you know the way I play MMA is betting the dogs. Matt Snell, I'll count as a dog because he opened that way, but I missed that dog money just by a hair. I got minus 105 on Matt Snell. These are both young up-and-coming fighters, and Matt Snell is hitting his stride. He trains out of ATT, which is arguably the best gym in MMA these days, and he's on a tear right now, man. He's won his last 3 fights in a row. He's looking better and better, and the thing that I think is going to get it done is his hand speed. His opponent's very athletic. He comes in and out, but he relies on his athleticism to really avoid the shots of his opponent. Somebody with the hand speed like Matt Snell is going to be able to clip him. And with the athleticism his opponent shows, he ends up slowing down in the later rounds. So if he can't keep up that speed, Matt Snell can. Round 2, round 3, I think Snell starts to take over, might even clip him and TKO him.
Backing Snell. I like it. Let's move on to Lucy Pudilova against Antonina Shevchenko. Shevchenko opening up at minus 170 is now minus 147, a 23-cent move towards Pudilova. Who do you have here?
I love that people are betting Pudilova here, Jimmy. I love it so much. If you recall, we faded Antonina Shevchenko in her last fight when we bet Roxana Modafferi at plus 300 and locked that one up easy. Well, this is what happens when a plus 300 underdog runs you over. Everyone thinks Shevchenko is worse than she is because of that fight. Pudilova does not have the toolkit that Roxanne Modafferi had. Shevchenko is a legitimate threat on the feet. She is a multiple-time world champion in kickboxing and Muay Thai prior to her UFC appearances. And Pudilova has shot a total of 0 takedowns in her entire UFC career. The girl doesn't take it to the ground. So if you think you're going to come in here and stand with a Shevchenko for a full 15 minutes and walk away the winner, good fucking luck. I'm all over Shevchenko here. This is my 2-unit play for this week.
2-unit play on Shevchenko. My ears are perked. Shevchenko, 2 units from our guy, Animarak. All right, let's move on to this Salim Touari versus Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall opening as a minus 135 favorite is now a plus 110 dog. A 45-cent move towards Salim. Who do you have in this bout?
I back that line movement again. I've got Salim at minus 105. Mickey Gall just isn't UFC caliber. He showed some flashy moments, but it's against guys that don't belong in the UFC either. He's basically gotten his ass beat by anybody who is UFC caliber. He's a young guy, so he could turn it around. Maybe one of these days he'll get there. He's raw, but Salim Touari's got basically everything that Mickey Gall doesn't. He's got slick striking, he's got heavy hands, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So Mickey Gall's one path to victory is his ground game. He is a good Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. If he gets this thing to the ground, Salim might be better than he is. So that's not going to help him out in this fight. Gall also can't manage his gas tank. He tends to gas out in basically every single fight. If he doesn't get that submission, I think Salim drags him into deep waters and gets it done.
Salim backing Salim and that market move. And then finally we come up to Robbie Lawler versus Colby Covington. Covington opening up a minus 230 and he's still there. There's been very little movement on this fight. What is your take, Lawler Covington?
This is the one I got to go with, Jimmy. I'm taking the dog. I'm going to take Robbie Lawler. He's an absolute legend of the sport. The guy's got knockout power in both of his hands, and he never stops. He's one of those fighters that gets stronger as the fight goes on, and that's something that you really need when you're fighting Colby Covington. He's a chain wrestler. His pressure is second to none. He's going to stick on you like glue the entire 15 minutes, and in this case, 25 minutes. So the other thing that we need to consider is how durable Robbie Lawler is. He doesn't go down. Colby Covington is not going to submit this guy. Colby Covington does not hit hard enough to put this guy out. He has to grind out a 25-minute decision win. So over that 25 minutes, we've got all that time for Robbie Lawler, who's the hardest puncher and most complete fighter that that Covington has ever fought, to land a big shot. He can land check knees. He's not a bad wrestler himself. Elbows from the clinch. I think, if anything, he stands the best shot to stop Colby Covington that anybody in the UFC has had so far. Getting 2-1 on him, I can't pass that up. You're saying he's got like a 25% chance to win the fight, and that's just too wide.
Wow, what a great breakdown. And Fat Fist coming in saying on Robbie also. Wow, Fat Fist and Animarak on the same 2-1 dog. Take note. Kyle Jack saying Salim, that's the best bet. That's the best bet of the night on the card. People backing what our guy Animarak is dropping. And Animarak, you have put, and then Sportskick says Robbie has to hit the button. If he doesn't, it's a 5-round slog decision for Covington. Wow, it sounds like there's a ton of value on Lawler. Guru Sports Bets also liking Lawler. And then Animarak, you have put together a plus line parlay for us. Can you break that down?
Absolutely, Jimmy. So what I like to do with MMA parlays, most people think when you do a parlay, it's because you're that confident in both sides of the parlay. I do things a little differently when it comes to MMA. You can take that approach. If you've got 2 or 3 locks, parlay them up for a better price. In this case, I've got two guys that I think are the winners, and the lines are just a little too wide for my liking. So we're going to stick them together, risk 1 unit to win just over 1 unit instead of laying the roughly 4 units it would cost to win 2. I just think it's a lower risk, lower reward type of scenario, and then I get to play the two guys that I like. So we're going to combine Nasrat Haqparast and Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles suffered the first defeat of his career against Zach Otto in his last UFC outing, and it really just looked like he had a case of ring rust. The kid's got good hands. He's fast. He's athletic. He never stops coming forward, and his athleticism made his pay in his last fight. He dodged a shot, or what he thought was going to be a shot, really, really hard, ducked into his right, and ran into the fist of Zach Otto. The combination of his own speed and then Zach's fist is what knocked him out. I think it was kind of a freak accident. I think he bounces back strong here, has a better showing, and gets it done. Nasrat Haqparast on the flip side of this, again, that line is too wide. I don't think he should be a minus 230 favorite, but I'm not betting on Joaquim Silva. Joaquim Silva in his last fight went balls to the wall against Jared Gordon, and he was getting his ass beat. He got rocked multiple times in that fight, and then he clipped Gordon in round 3 to put him out. I think it was a lucky win, actually. So Nasrat is going to come in, and he's much better than Jared Gordon is. He's got faster hands, and I think he's got better footwork. I think Nasrat pieces him up over the course of 3, and if this guy's chin is in any way damaged from the fight with Gordon, Nasrat could put him out.
Wow. Haqparast. Nasrat Haqparast and Trevin Giles together giving you a plus 128 parlay. Here is our guy Clint's action on UFC Newark. Silva inside the distance at minus 160. Barillas at minus 165. Snell at minus 105. Antonia Shevchenko, whom Fat Fist says is the best bet on the card. Shevchenko, minus 141 for 2 units. Salim Tuari at minus 105. And Lawler, the brawler, at plus 195. And then the parlay. Incredible work, our guy, Animarak. Thank you so much for joining us. Much love to you. And Russell Gordon said, Jimmy, go versus the trend we've been on for 4 months. You leave Coors, you'll lose. You know, I love that you're on the Padres, Russell Courtney, but it does scare me going against Kershaw, but I love it. I'll cheer for you. How about that? I'll just sit back and cheer for you. Animarak, thank you so much for joining us and breaking down these fights. Tell us where we can find you on Twitter, and tell us a little bit about your Die Hard MMA podcast.
I'm at Die Hard MMA Pod on Twitter. Been doing the podcast since January. We've got a nice little record of 87 and 79 on picks, sporting 28.97 positive units since January. So things going in the right direction. And I like doing it, man. Thank you guys for having me on the show. Good luck to everybody. Sacrifice a goat, pray to the MMA gods, whatever you got to do. Let's post some winners.